Hello and welcome to another episode of Tours and Tactics. Today we're finally concluding our spotlight on the various siege weapons with the mighty siege golem. As you can see from the footage, we are slowly stumbling to war. Slightly damaged because I had previously engaged some attackers on the supply camp. Now, we're going to look at some of the characteristics of the siege golem in addition to his abilities. First, the siege golem is the only mobile siege unit, and it is one that is occupied by a player. It requires 100 supply to complete, and he has a range of 225, so he's pretty much melee except for a few of his abilities. The first of those abilities is Punch. As you can see from the video clip there, Punch is the most basic of the attacks. He just pulls his fist back and punches the attacker in the face. Pretty self-explanatory. The one thing I've noticed with the siege golem is that it's kind of situational. It's not good for individual people. It is actually really good for crowds and being part of an assault, as the name would guarantee, but it was something I had to try out just to see. The siege golem's second ability is kind of a fun one. It's Whirling Assault. Spin your siege suit forward, knocking back enemies. It's kind of fun because he just kind of leans forward and spins. That's another one that's really good for attacking crowds and just mass numbers of enemies. His third ability is a shield bubble, which is particularly useful when you're on the massive attack. It's pretty self-explanatory. It gives them extra defensive bonuses. The siege golem's fourth ability is Pull. This one is kind of fun to play with, but tricky to pull off. It's good. What I'm hypothesizing is that it's good for pulling enemies off of towers and walls. I didn't actually get a chance to try that, but it's something I will try in the future. And actually another thing I want to experiment with is just getting a group of siege golems and just going around being awesome with them. I think that sounds kind of fun. This one's got a range of 800, and it doesn't really go off with enough time to pull out a punch or anything like that. His fifth ability is Eject. You can leap from your siege golem. That's about it. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's how you get out of it. Some of the things I discovered while tromping around in a siege golem is, first, you can actually revive friends while in the siege golem, which is kind of neat to be able to do. What else did I learn from him? He's slow. Very slow and vulnerable when alone. If you don't have infantry supporting it, as you can see from my health, it kinda leaves you battered. And from my understanding, there's no way to actually actively repair the siege golem. There may be, someone may have a way, but from what I understood, it really wasn't a way. The siege golem is also useful against gates. I didn't get a chance to try it against walls to see how effective it was, but I'm going to go with not so much. And as you can see here, it is slowly approaching the wall. It can sprint, as you can see from the energy bar there. He can move forward. Now what was happening here was, this was again the game in which we were being completely and totally dominated by the red forces, and we were attempting to take Maguma Garrison. So I had originally been taking part in the attack, and we were opening up the other side. Boy, nothing makes you feel really mighty like being in a siege golem and seeing the tiny char run around you. So I decided I was going to take the siege golem and try to break open this other side. And as you can tell from the chat, people were very excited to see the golem go. That was also kind of empowering, which is why I really want to see what happens when you can get a bunch of these guys together and just see what kind of havoc you can make. The siege golem was actually pretty expensive. It was the most expensive siege weapon at the time, at about a gold 10, I think. And you can see me beating down the door here. The thing is, we've got kind of a small group, and I think it was assumed at the time that the other side had been open too. As you'll see in a couple of seconds, as we bust down the door. Boom. It was not. In fact, we ran into a fairly hefty group of reds. And as everyone ran in, they started to kind of get scattered, and the rest of the reds rounded the corner. Yeah. The siege golem is not extremely effective when focus fired. It is slow, it is lumbering, and his attacks aren't very reliable. But as you can see, they're very strong. So if you get hit by one, it's going to hurt. So the goal, of course, is not to get hit by one. And as I wade in the middle of the AoE, the siege golem is eventually taken down through multi-rapid fire. So the siege golem, while fun, is kind of a situational one. But I would advise everyone to try it out, and if you have any suggestions, let me know. And on the next episode, we're going to resume our keep visits, now that we have finished doing little exposés on all the siege weapons. And I hope those are just as informative. So until then, my friends, game on and take care.